Hey plant fam, welcome back to The Sprout. Today we're talking about one of the most elegant and, let's be honest, most dramatic ferns you can grow indoors, the Adiantum, also known as the Maidenhair Fern or Venus Maidenhair Fern. Those delicate, fan-shaped leaflets on thin, black, wire-like stems, it looks like something out of a fairy tale. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it has a reputation for being impossible to keep alive. People buy one, take it home, and within a few weeks it turns crispy brown and dies, and they swear never to buy another one. But here's the thing. The Maidenhair Fern isn't hard, it's just demanding. It tells you exactly what it needs, and if you understand those needs, this fern will reward you with lush, vibrant growth that's worth every bit of attention. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We put out new plant care videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Also, drop a comment below. Have you ever owned a Maidenhair Fern? Did it survive? What's your experience? I'd love to hear about it. Now, let's get into it. First, let's talk about what makes Adiantum different. It's a true fern, which means it reproduces by spores, not flowers or seeds. It's native to tropical and temperate regions around the world, but most houseplant varieties come from tropical rainforests. In the wild, they grow on moist forest floors, along stream banks and near waterfalls. They are never exposed to direct sun, they are never allowed to dry out, and they are surrounded by humid air. Understanding this explains everything. Now let's talk about the most important thing, water. Maidenhair ferns are absolutely unforgiving when it comes to drying out. If the soil goes completely dry, even for a day, the fronds will turn brown and crispy. They may not recover. So here's my rule. Keep the soil consistently moist, but not soggy. Water when the top half-inch of soil feels dry. In most homes, that means watering every 2 to 3 days in spring and summer, and every 5 to 7 days in fall and winter. Yes, every 2 to 3 days. This is not a plant you can ignore for a week. When you water, use room temperature water. Cold water can shock the roots, and if possible, use filtered water or rainwater. Maidenhair ferns are sensitive to chlorine and fluoride in tap water, which can cause brown leaf edges. But here's the secret. Don't just water from the top. Maidenhair ferns love humidity. The air around them needs to be moist. The ideal humidity is 60 to 70%. In most homes, especially in winter, humidity is much lower. The signs of low humidity are brown, crispy leaf edges and fronds that turn brown and die. To increase humidity, you have several options. Use a humidifier near the plant. This is the most effective method. Put the plant in a naturally humid room like a bathroom or kitchen. Group it with other plants. Or set the pot on a pebble tray filled with water. Just make sure the pot isn't sitting directly in the water. What about misting? Misting helps temporarily, but it's not enough on its own. A humidifier or pebble tray is much better. Now let's talk about light. Maidenhair ferns need bright, indirect light. They cannot handle direct sun. Direct sun will scorch the delicate leaflets in hours. An east-facing window is perfect. Gentle morning sun is fine. A north-facing window works well too. A south or west window is too harsh unless you pull the plant far back from the window or use a sheer curtain. If the light is too low, the fern will stop growing, the fronds will become pale and thin, and the plant will look sad. If the fronds start turning yellow, the light is probably too bright, so find that sweet spot. Bright but never direct. Now let's talk about soil and pots. Adiantum needs a light, well-draining soil mix that still holds moisture. A standard indoor potting mix is usually too heavy. Here's my recipe. Take 2 parts peat moss or cocoa coir, 1 part perlite, and 1 part vermiculite. This mix is light, airy, and holds moisture without becoming waterlogged. As for pots, choose one with drainage holes, always. Maidenhair ferns don't like sitting in water. A slightly shallow, wide pot works better than a deep pot because the roots are shallow. Repot every 1 to 2 years in spring. Now let's talk about temperature. Maidenhair ferns like it warm but not hot. They prefer temperatures between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. They can handle up to 80, but hot, dry air will cause problems. Keep them away from heating vents, air conditioning vents, and cold drafts. Sudden temperature changes cause stress. They also don't like cold windowsills in winter. If your window gets cold at night, move the plant back a few feet. Now let's talk about fertilizer. Maidenhair ferns are light feeders. Too much fertilizer burns their delicate roots. During spring and summer, feed your fern once a month with a balanced liquid houseplant fertilizer diluted to half strength. Do not fertilize in fall and winter. If you see brown leaf tips or edges, you may be over-fertilizing. Flush the soil with plain water to wash out excess salts. Now let's talk about pruning and grooming. This is simple. Remove any dead, brown, or crispy fronds at the base. Cut them off with clean scissors. This encourages new growth and keeps the plant looking tidy. Also, remove any fallen leaflets from the soil surface. They can rot and attract fungus. Do not cut off green, healthy fronds. The plant needs them for photosynthesis. Now, let's talk about propagation. Propagating Adiantum is not as easy as with other houseplants. The most reliable method is division. Do this in spring when you repot. Take the plant out of its pot, gently separate the root ball into 2 or 3 sections, each with several fronds and healthy roots. Use a clean, sharp knife if needed. Pot each section in fresh soil. Keep the divisions in high humidity and consistently moist soil for a few weeks until they establish. Division is the only practical method for home growers. Spore propagation is possible, but very slow and complicated, not recommended for beginners. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1. Crispy, brown fronds. This is almost always underwatering or low humidity. The plant dried out. Cut off the dead fronds, water thoroughly, increase humidity. New fronds should grow from the roots. Problem 2. Leaves turning yellow. This is usually too much direct sun or overwatering. Move to a shadier spot, let the soil dry out a bit more between waterings. Problem 3. Brown leaf tips. Low humidity or tap water chemicals. Increase humidity, switch to filtered or rainwater. Problem 4. Pale, thin fronds. Not enough light. Move to a brighter spot, but still no direct sun. Problem 5. Slow or no growth. Could be too cold, too dry, or needs fertilizer. Check your conditions. Problem 6. Pests. Maidenhair ferns can get aphids, mealybugs, and spider mites. Mealybugs look like white cotton in the leaf joints. Spider mites leave fine webs. Wipe with rubbing alcohol on a cotton swab or use insecticidal soap. Isolate the plant. Here's where you come in. Drop a comment below. Are you team Maidenhair Fern or do you avoid them? Do you have any tips for keeping them happy? I'd love to know. Now let's talk about a few specific Adiantum varieties you might find. Adiantum radians is the most common Delta Maidenhair Fern. It has dark, wiry stems and bright green fan-shaped leaflets. Adiantum Capillus-Veneris is the southern Maidenhair Fern, very similar but slightly more delicate. Adiantum hispidulum is the rosy Maidenhair Fern. New growth comes in pink or bronze. There are also larger varieties like Adiantum Pedatum, the northern Maidenhair Fern, which has a unique horseshoe-shaped frond arrangement. Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. Can I put my Maidenhair Fern in a bathroom? Yes, if there's a window for light. The humidity is perfect. How do I bring a crispy fern back to life? Cut off all the dead fronds. Water thoroughly. Put a plastic bag over the pot to create a humidity dome. New fronds should appear in a few weeks. Why are my new fronds dying before they unfurl? low humidity or inconsistent watering, increase humidity, and keep the soil evenly moist. Can I grow Maidenhair Fern from cuttings? No, they don't root from stem cuttings, only division or spores. How often should I repot? Every 1 to 2 years. They don't mind being slightly root-bound, but need fresh soil. Let's wrap everything up. The Maidenhair Fern is not impossible, it just has non-negotiable needs. Keep the soil consistently moist, never let it dry out. Water every 2 to 3 days. Provide high humidity, 60 to 70%, with a humidifier or pebble tray. Give it bright, indirect light, no direct sun. Use a light, well-draining soil mix. Keep temperatures between 60 and 75 degrees. Fertilize monthly at half strength in spring and summer. Remove dead fronds. Propagate by division. Here's the most important thing to remember. This is not a plant for neglect, it's a plant for attention. If you're someone who forgets to water, this is not your plant. But if you're someone who enjoys checking on your plants daily, who doesn't mind a little extra care, the Maidenhair Fern will become your pride and joy. Those delicate, lacy fronds are worth every drop of water. Before you go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Are you ready to try a Maidenhair Fern? Or do you already have one? Share a photo if you can, I'd love to see it. Also, what fern should I cover next? Boston fern? Staghorn fern? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care of your plants, and they'll take care of you. See you in the next video.